Julia has escaped the zombies and traveled back in time via the staircase to 1840, where we will remain from episodes 1110 to 1198. Get ready for some confusing time paradoxes. Okay, so Julia has escaped from 1970 zombies to 1840 via the stairway through time. And needing her bestie vampire buddy, she unchains Barnabas from his coffin because, he's there as a vampire from 1796 to 1968. And he's been there 2 different times. But this should be the second Barnabas. However, we're going to find out very quickly, based on the fact that he doesn't appear to know Julia and wants to eat her, that he's in fact the first Barnabas, which is time paradox number 1. Okay, so Barnabas in 1970, who's still a vampire apparently, was not killed by zombies, as I had previously thought in the last recap. And he's able to use I Ching to Doc Brown it and body hop from his 1970 vampire self to his 1840 vampire self. I love vampire possessions. They're the most fun. And we find in this 1840 main house of Collinwood that this is Daniel's family living here. Daniel being the nephew of Barnabas, cousin of Barnabas from I'm getting so confused, from 1796. So Daniel grew up to have 2 sons, Doc Quinton and Gabriel. And Doc Quinton married Samantha Drew, who is the sister of Roxanne Drew and Randall Drew. That's right. The same Roxanne who's a vampire in 1970 was created in 1840 by, let's call him, Dark Barnabas. And let's also call it paradox number 2. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. So Gabriel is married to Edith, who, as you remember from the 1897 timeline, is the grandmother of Wolf Quinton, Judith, Edward, and Carl. In Rose Cottage lives Flora Collins, or Nejudabithra. This name combo thing's a little too much. Anyway, she's the cousin of Quinton and Gabriel, so I think that means she's the daughter of Nathan Forbes and Millicent Collins. However, that is never confirmed, but I feel like that's the only way the familial connection makes sense. And she's the mother of Desmond Collins, who is besties with Quentin, and he brings him the disembodied head of Judah Zachary. I told you there'd be a disembodied head. Yeah. Okay, so Judah Zachary was a witch during the Salem witch trials in 1692, and in fact he trained Miranda Duval, who was Angelique's original form. This is how she became a witch and the servant of Diablo. Yeah. Okay, so he was beheaded by Amadeus Collins and vowed his revenge. I don't think Angelique vowed her revenge on the Collins family, but she sure got it hell of a lot more than Judah did, or will. But more on that as I go. So he possessed this guy, Gerard, Stiles. So the ghost haunting the Collins family in 1970 is possessed by a ghost from 1692. We're in exponential possessions now? Okay, that's ghost math. Again, cocaine's a hell of a drug. So Angelique returns as Valerie, or Valerique, and she really wants to give her marriage to Barnabas a shot. Again, still. She's really working on it, and Julia watches begrudgingly on the sidelines, posing as his sister. Doc Quinton is thought to be dead, but don't worry, he's alive, and his wife, Samantha, tries to capitalize on her window of widowship and literally marries Gerard Stiles. Now this girl Daphne shows up with one goal: to kill Doc Quinton, because he had an affair with her sister, which led to her sister's death, but of course she falls in love with him instead. As one does. I know I always fall in love with my bitter enemies. So Reverend Trask Jr., so he's not called Junior, but it's Reverend Trask's son, shows up to be a religious zealot once again and cause trouble for the Collins family, especially Barnabas, who he suspects as having something to do with his father's death. Yeah, he did. Desmond gets possessed by the head of Judas Zachary as well, and he finds the Mask of Baal, which is bejeweled. Before my time. So Doc Quentin and Desmond are tried for witchcraft and murder as a part of Judas Zachary's plan, and they go to Gallows Hill. But Desmond shoots Gerard in the head, killing him and thus killing Judas Zachary, which was kind of easy. And they're acquitted of all charges. Wait, they killed a guy at the gallows and get acquitted. This justice system is awesome. Valerique is really trying hard for Barnabas, as I said, and she actually admits to the judges that she's a witch, which is, why it's not just them killing a guy that gets them released. And she also releases Barnabas of his vampire's curse. Wait, in 1897, she could have just released, you know what, not gonna think about it. Plot hole number 3. So Barnabas goes to the parallel time room, which exists in 1840, because don't forget it wasn't destroyed until 1970, and he sees a different version of himself and Angelique, and there he finally realizes he loves her, and he goes to her, and as he is about to admit that he has feelings for her, she's shot by Trask Jr. on episode 1198. Beautiful face, as if you were asleep. Am I never to see your eyes again? So often they looked at me with love, and I returned nothing but hatred. I was blinded by my fury that my rejection of you caused. And so throughout the years we battled and fought, and I never guessed that beneath my rage I felt a love as strong as yours. I love you. That is why you must live. I love you, Angelique. After all those years, all that's happened between us, I can say it now because I know it. It's true. I love you.